Welcome to this video about build, especially the build team. Today we're talking about prototyping, implementing designs, building stuff first, and how we're managing deadlines. So we'll get started by talking about our prototyping. Uh, we started early in the year with our prototyping when we were actually out of school. We started with cardboard, pencils, and other small materials from our own homes, and we started making some simple designs. And this moved at obviously as we moved into the classroom, these moved into more structured designs with channel motors and better movable parts. Prototyping is ultimately when you don't have an exact design, but you're going to be working towards a goal, obviously with a design in mind. So for us, we prototyped mainly our launcher systems, our intake systems, and our wobble grabber, and we are still prototyping to this day, uh, just to keep on iterating on the bot and trying to make it better. But prototyping never stops. It's an endless process. You're going to be keep on doing it. You're going to be adjusting items when they don't work as well as you want, and you know that there's a better way. Uh, that's where it all kind of comes down to. Your prototyping will be just to make the bot better and increase its likelihood of success. So
All right, I'll talk about implementing the designs from the design team. So while you're prototyping, the designers should be designing what they want the final robot to look like. And so while you're prototyping, you have to talk to them and say, hey, here's what works, here's what doesn't, here's what you should put in the design, and this is something you should leave out. So you take what they've designed and take what you've prototyped and you get your first final product, which is not the actual final product, of course. You test that as the first real thing, and then there's obviously going to be some problems with it, and you have to go back and change it. Say, hey, this isn't good enough. Hey, this just doesn't work at all, and you have to redesign and reprototype, and yeah.
next, we're going to talk about like what you would build first. Now, this is kind of an obvious one on what you would ultimately build first. It would most likely be your chassis. You're gonna want something for a platform for your robot. This is gonna be your basic frame, wheels, motors, and your drivetrain. So whatever makes your bot move, it's probably gonna be wheels. If you're kind of crazy and you do some tank treads, that's gonna be kind of probably your first build, trying to get that to work. And this is ultimately the first thing you should build so that your programmers will have time to just program the bot to be able to move. Uh, After that, looking into what you want to build first mechanical wise, when it comes to the actual mechanisms specific to the game, that will ultimately be decided upon you. It'll be based upon your strategy, the design of your robot, and what's going to be the best to build first and have the most access to, and what's been prototyped, what's working well, what's not, what needs to still be designed. All these factors will come into what should be built first. Although you should really talk to your entire team about this because it should not be a one person thing. So keep that in mind. Just keep your strategy in mind and your entire team in mind when it comes to building stuff first on your robot.
All right. Lastly, I'll talk about managing deadlines. So, managing deadlines was something that we were not good at in the first semester. The designs weren't ready, the prototypes weren't good enough, the deadlines were just not met. Okay. We had deadlines to compete at before winter break, and that just did not happen. So we had to work through winter break. We talked about why we didn't meet the deadlines, and it largely came down to communication. Our communication was just not good enough. A lot of times we would go into the classroom and we just wouldn't know what to do because no one had told us what to do and we hadn't talked as a team. So the biggest thing is communication. The second semester, we increased our communication. We gave ourselves a checklist of what to do every day. Hey, this needs to be done. Hey, this needs to be done immediately. This is the number one problem and it has to be worked on. And the second semester, we've done a lot better at meeting our deadlines.
Thank you. And also, your deadline should also apply to your documentation, stuff like that, especially for any of you who want to go into the business or managerial side of FTC. That's going to be a big one as well. Getting your deadline for documentation, all the other managerial items you'll need. So we hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we hope you guys will take this information and apply it to what you guys are going to do in the classroom eventually. So we're signing off, and you guys have a good day.